friends, today we're going to work on making the first part of a GIF. So once you have your file open, Rocket M, the first thing that you need to do is to change the view of your screen so that you are zoomed out so that you can see your entire slide that you're working with. So to do that, you're just going to click on the magnifying glass arrow and select 50%. Do you see how now you can see your whole entire page? All right, so go ahead, pause the video, and change that. Okay, the second thing that you want to do is you want to move this background that we're going to use to cover your entire slide. So you are simply going to click and drag and move it to the upper left corner. And then while you can still see that it's selected, click and drag on one of the blue boxes so that it covers your entire canvas. Okay. Now our goal of this project is to make this rocket over here zoom from the bottom left corner to the upper right corner. Okay. So the first thing that you are going to have to do is you're going to have to select this as your background. So you are going to do a 2-finger tap and select order, and then select send to back. This way, when we move our rocket on top, we'll be able to see the rocket. So go ahead and do those two things. Move the background, make it larger, select move to back, and then bring your rocket on your canvas. Go ahead and pause and do those two steps. Okay, so remember how I said we want the rocket to zoom from the bottom left corner to the upper right corner? Well, I also want to make it look like it's really happening. So when I click on my rocket, I want to then click on this little circle at the top, and I want to spin my rocket so that it is in the direction that I want it to zoom. And then I'm going to click and drag it off screen. Because when you present, the first thing that you want your audience to see is just your background. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this slide so that every time I go and use it, I don't have to redo all of my work. So to duplicate the slide, you can either go to Slide, Duplicate Slide, or there's a shortcut. You can select the slide by clicking on it in the side panel, and then you can hit Control and D, and look, it duplicates it for you or makes a copy of it. So then I'm just going to move my rocket so that I can just see the nose in the bottom corner. Now, this is going to take anywhere from 40 to 50 slides to make your rocket go from the bottom left to the upper right. So each step is going to be the same. You are going to first click on your slide. You're going to do a Control D to duplicate it. Then you are going to take your rocket and move it slightly forward. Okay, then you go back to your slide, select it, select the next thumbnail, hit Control D, move the rocket. Select the slide, Control D, move the rocket. Select the slide, Control D, move the rocket. Now look, I'm already 6 slides in and you can't even see my whole rocket. Select the slide, Control D, move the 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 rocket. 10 and I still can't see my whole rocket on my screen. So select the slide, Control D, move the rocket. Select the slide, Control D, move the rocket. Select the slide, Control D, move the rocket. So you get the picture, right? So I am going to go ahead and continue moving my rocket to the upper right-hand corner. You can pause the video now and you can do the same thing. Remember, click on the slide on the left, Control D to duplicate it, then move your rocket and go back and do the same thing over and over and over again. When you get your rocket to the other side of the page, come back and watch the rest of the video. My rocket is slowly made it across the page and I am 46 slides in. So I am going to continue to select the slide, hit Control D, and move my rocket until it is completely off the page. So select the slide, Control D, move my rocket, select the slide, Control D, move the rocket, select the slide, Control D, move the rocket, select the slide, Control D, and move my rocket. Select the slide, Control D, move the rocket. Select the slide, Control D, and move my rocket. Now my rocket's all the way, but I want to duplicate this slide some more so that when I go to present, you will not see the rocket, because if we were to make a GIF of it, it would repeat itself. We'd want to give a couple slides in between before it starts again. So I'm just going to hit Control, oops, see, I made lots of rockets. So let me get rid of those. I'm going to select my slide, Control D. There we go. Now, if we want to check and see our progress, we can go all the way back to the first thumbnail, click Present, and using your arrows, or if you're working with a mouse, you could do that too. Using the arrows, you can just keep clicking and see your rocket move across the screen. Off. All right. When you're finished, go back to Google Classroom and turn this in so we can check it out.